Hey everyone, welcome back to the Errant Venture. I'm Steve,
Adam.
and there's been a lot of Star Wars news going on recently, and a lot of it has been about Daisy Ridley. They're apparently in talks with Daisy about returning to the Star Wars universe, and considering that they keep saying the saga series, the Skywalker saga is over, what do you think would happen with a date if they bring back the Rey character? Like, how do you think the Rey character would fit in? What type of ideas should they have for Rey?
I would like to see her growth. I would like to see her growth from where we last saw her in Rise of Skywalker. I would like to see her growth from there. And honestly, unless they come out with something that gives us a reason why she took the name Skywalker, and even saying, "Oh yeah, there is Skywalker in her." Until that happens, as far as I'm concerned, she's a Palpatine, so it's fine. They're not doing Skywalker anymore. This is a Palpatine. It's not a Skywalker. So go ahead, give us something to show her growth. Give us something more about this character. I happen to have liked her in the movies, so I would love to see more of Rey.
So when you say her growth,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean by that? Like, a lot of people when after Return of the Jedi first came out and the book started coming out, you would imagine, Luke's traveling around as you learn in the sequels,
Yep.
collecting knowledge, starts his own Jedi Academy in the
Mm-hmm.
works. What type of growth would you want to see from Rey? And would this be in the form of a movie or would this be in the form of a TV show?
As far as what form it is, I could care less. It could be a movie. I don't care. It could be a TV show. I don't care. Um, but as far as her growth, I feel like she's not just growth with her training. Finding out who she is as a Jedi. Is she a Jedi? What is she? You know, where do you go from here? Where do you go from the end of Rise of Skywalker? You know, do you settle does she just settle down on Tatooine? Does she travel around with Chewbacca, being a smuggler? Like, what does she do? So I would like to see some growth into that respect.
Have you heard the rumors? These are probably good, couple weeks old. In fact, I did a video on this channel for this a little bit, where there's talks of a reboot coming up, where her son would be the main character. Um, doesn't mention whether or not she would be in it, but would that be something you would be interested to
Well,
see?
are we talking like so? We're talking Ray's son.
Rey's son that she was impregnated by Kylo Ren when he gave his life force to save her on Exegol.
I think the person who came up with that should be slapped in the head multiple times.
So that was the big
Um,
rumor that was going around, and I guess for me the way I took it was, you know, and
I
I
don't count that as a reboot though.
neither do I. I think they're kind of using it as a way to bring back more, but in my mind, there's so much more of the galaxy
Actually, that would be a sequel.
and that's where I'm getting at. There's so much more in the galaxy that I feel they can take this in a different direction. I think continuing Rey's story would go on and extend the Skywalker saga because it's all connected.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, like I don't have a problem with Rey as a character. I could have done without seeing Kylo topless, but I think
I
a
think
lot of
we
us.
all could.
But the for me, I kind of want to know more about her life before everything. I want the Ray prequel. I want to know how she survived from in between her parent, her dad being taken away, and when she finally gets pops in.
I don't think we need that.
I don't think we need anything with her.
I
But
really, I really.
but that's
To
that's
me, that
that's the
that would be
story.
kind of boring.
It
That'd
depends.
be kind of boring.
It depends how you look at it because when you see her,
Yeah.
she's already has a very good set of skills, and she had to have learned how to fight like that somewhere. It wasn't just like she picked up a stick and she can automatically
That's
kick
like
Bruce Lee's
saying.
ass.
That's like saying. Do you think we should have um, a movie or TV series about Luke growing up on Tatooine?
Not
We
quite.
don't really need that. We don't need to see.
Not quite because we learn everything about Luke pretty much growing up between he's a moisture farmer that
We
all his
learned
friends
everything
left.
about Rey. She was left on that planet. She grew up. She didn't have that great of a life. I mean, it's not. I don't think that is necessary. I really don't. Like,
All right.
that's like having a prequel to A New Hope with seeing Luke growing up at Tatooine.
So do you think that having her kind of start a Jedi, do you think the Jedi should continue after her? Or do you think at this point the galaxy doesn't need the Jedi anymore?
I think it should be something else.
All right.
Something else with the Force, but I don't think it should be like necessarily Jedi.
Now, just like in A New Hope,
Hmm.
at the end of A New Hope, everyone thought, before they made more of them, that there was going to be more, that, hey, the good guys win.
Right.
And then they made more. And then you have The Mandalorian come out, which takes place after Return of the Jedi, and you still see that there's Imperial fragments out there.
Hmm.
And essentially you learn that even the First Order is the Empire Part 2.
Yep.
But do you think that following The Rise of Skywalker, there's still a First Order out there, and that would be a reason to bring Rey in to keep doing stuff?
Yes, I do think there's still remnants of the First Order out there after Rise of Skywalker. As far as bringing Rey in, that's definitely an idea of where to take her story. Is it really necessary? I don't know if it's really necessary to bring her in for that. I think one of the things that Mandalorian especially has taught us is that, and Rogue One and even Solo, we don't have to have movies and TV shows with Jedi.
I agree.
There is plenty out there within the Star Wars galaxy that we can do without any Jedi whatsoever. So, getting back to the First Order, I really don't think we really need Rey in for that. We could do just fine without Rey.
And I agree with that. You start to see, hey, there's X-wing pilots out there,
Hmm.
and you can have a whole lot of stories. And even I don't know if you've played Squadrons or not.
Yeah, I love Squadrons.
So even something like that,
Yeah.
once again, there's no Jedi in that movie. It's all pilots. It's all like
Rogue One.
well,
They had, I mean, it's not canon anymore, but they did have the book series of Rogue One, and it featured Wedge Antilles
mhm.
and other members of the squadron.
And I think that getting away from the Jedi part of Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. The lightsaber is always going to be the sign of Star Wars.
Oh,
It's always,
Jedi's
it's
are
always
awesome.
going to be it.
They're
But
like the Buddha, like the Shaolin priest slash samurai of the galaxy.
exactly, but as you just pointed out, they're not needed. And
Nope.
when you see the list of movies that Disney and TV shows that Disney announced a couple months back, luckily a lot of them didn't seem like they were going to be too Jedi heavy. Boba Fett, Andor,
Yeah.
Rangers, which no longer is going to be made but still there. Did not seem
Although
like
there
they're.
is a rumor about Skywalker series.
Yes, there is. But you know what? With everything else out there, I'll give that one a pass. But those are series that do not sound like they're going to be too Jedi
I would like
heavy.
to see Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker, though.
I'm just excited to see like that. I was not happy with his portrayal in the sequels. I wasn't.
You mean Luke?
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
agree with that.
and I think Sebastian Stan would do a great job playing Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything that the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian did was really make me want to see more Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And now that you hear, hey, they're bringing in Mara Jade, I'm expecting it. Now, I'll be upset if they don't. But this also adds characters from Legends that I really want. I really want to see Talon
Listen,
Card. I love
the
Talon
geek in
Card.
me, the geek in me wants them to make the Thrawn trilogy. And that's the geek in me. I'm dying to see it because I personally love that series.
It's
But anyways,
I was reading an article that it was saying that, hey, with how some of these things going forward might be, they might bring in, oh god, I'm gonna butcher the name, I can't remember it. The clone Jedi that they used in Savioth.
Sabath.
Sabath,
Yeah.
that he might be making an appearance in something. Thing is, because of how everything went with Rebels and in the Ahsoka episode of The Mandalorian, you're not going to see the Thrawn trilogy that we learned to love before Disney.
Yeah.
And honestly, at this point, I don't want it. I want it to stay in the books that are out there. The fact that it's kind of like when you find that band, you see a band that no one's ever heard of, and it's kind of like this was awesome, and no one knows what it is, and
Yeah.
you kind of feel a little bit cooler for knowing it.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, that's what that series has become.
Okay. But then we have to find a different way to introduce Mara Jade
Well,
and Talon Card.
and I don't think it's going to be that difficult.
Yeah.
Because once again, they're changing everything, and I really don't think it's going to be that difficult. Honestly, I love the idea of the Emperor's Hand,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going. I have a feeling they're going to turn Mara Jade into, being the Emperor's Hand into being a badass damsel in distress.
Hmm.
That's what I really think they're going to do. But back to Rey. I, for one, at the end of the day, don't think they need to do more with her. Part of me is thinking that maybe she'll make cartoon appearances in some future thing for kids, and she's not even going to be in person. It's going to be as a voice actor.
Okay.
That's part of it because she didn't cross off ever coming back to Star Wars, but she did heavily say that she thinks her story is done.
Yeah.
So I think it would be her coming back for specials. I think it would be her coming back for kids stuff.
Okay.
But I don't think it would be for like a
That's what
serious
I'm
Star
not.
Wars stuff.
I'm not dying to have more of Rey's story. I agree with you on that. We don't need it. I don't want it. If they bring her back, voiceover cartoon is fine. Little guest appearances is fine. Now, here's an interesting thought. What if they bring Daisy Ridley back as a different character?
What is this, MASH?
I'm just wondering. Just a question.
No, don't
Because
get me.
remember, they're in negotiations with her.
Well, the thing is,
At least that's the rumor.
if they brought her back as another character, it would either be a clone of her because it's her, or she would get the Mark Hamill treatment where he played like 3 or 4 different characters throughout the sequels, but was wearing so much makeup and stuff that you didn't know it was him.
Well, there was also the other rumor about how they were going to kind of ignore the sequel trilogy and use the veil of mirrors.
Veil of the Force.
Yeah. To kind of explain the difference, why there's, we're making a new trilogy with the Skywalkers. It's got nothing to do with this. This is a different reality. That sort of thing.
So, as much as I was not a fan of the sequels, and I wasn't,
Yeah.
I really hope they don't go that route. One, it's going to bring Disney down a million pegs in my head because they made so much money on those movies. To me, it's going to seem like very much like a cash grab because it's Star Wars and you can make it that cash grab.
Well, it's pretty much what it would be, and that's pretty much what Disney is.
Exactly, but I feel like you're tying the knot so much where everything is kind of just doing one of these, where everything's just interloping, where it's going to get confusing to watch. It's going to be like, oh, that's not part of this trilogy, it's part of that trilogy, which took place
Yeah.
right during this
Yeah.
trilogy. And I think you're overinflating it. There's already so much Star Wars stuff coming out. And I remember going back a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, Star Wars needs to slow down. As much as I love it, it was too much too quickly. And I get it, they were using.
I completely agree.
Well, the only thing I'll give them is they had, and you kind of saw it take place. They had a very aging cast,
Oh yeah.
and so you kind of had to get that out there. Those are the type of movies where, hey, we should shoot these, back to back to back style, just to make sure everyone still looks like them and
Yeah.
is still
Yeah.
kicking. But but in terms of Rey coming back, and in terms of more movies, and in terms of the Veil of the Force, I think it's something that I could do without it. I think it's something that, hey, these already exist.
Yeah.
If you want to go back and kind of fill in the gaps like they've been doing, and kind of make things make more sense, and kind of try to have Dave Filoni kind of fix what J.J. Abrams did by making more stories to make stuff make sense,
Mm-hmm.
then that's the way to go. You started to see in The Mandalorian more of what makes Snoke a clone,
Yes.
and you're putting together things that now after seeing that make a lot more sense from seeing the rise of Skywalker.
Right.
So, do I think that Daisy Ridley is needed to make more movies? No. Do I think that her doing Star Wars stuff here and there? I think is great. Now the other thing is, there's audiobooks out there, and there's an audiobook
Yep.
for the Clone Wars where it's literally episodes of the Clone Wars being told from one character in the episode, and they actually got the voice of Ahsoka, the voice. I'm sorry, this was what's going on? The voice of Anakin,
Yeah.
the voice of Maul, the voice of Obi-Wan
Well,
to do this. So
Doctor Who has done that to perfection. I mean, there are audio adventures starring, the Eighth Doctor, Paul McGann, and he was only on screen for many years, just one time, and that was the TV movie from 1996. So yeah, I mean, as far as the audio adventures, I mean, again, as a geek, I love. Now I don't know if you've heard it or not, but there was the radio drama of the original trilogy. I loved it. It was sound effects. They had Mark Hamill. There was Anthony Daniels. So those kinds of things, if they did that with Rey, I'm fine with.
and that's kind of where I hope that they would take it.
Yeah.
Like I said, in terms of her story, I'm done. Can there be more to learn? Yes. But I feel like the best thing to do with her at this point would be more to gear her towards kids as a voiceover.
Okay.
Unless they wanted to make, once again, a kind of like a holiday special type, one-off, not really part of anything, just here to make money
Right.
type thing. But I really hope they don't go the way of the Veil of the Force. I feel like that was something that came up in Rebels. It was used to perfection in Rebels. And I feel like if they brought it back for this, it would tarnish that part of Rebels. It would make the Veil of the Force kind of seem like, hey, we screwed up on the last episode. Veil of the Force!
I kind of think and I agree with you. I agree with you with that 100%. I think if we do bring back Daisy Ridley as Rey, I think it should either be the like audio dramas or stuff for kids. Um, I don't think they should use the Veil of the Force. I think if they did, I think that would be the end. I think that would be the straw that broke the camel's back.
I agree. So I think that's a pretty good discussion on Daisy Ridley.
Oh yeah,
Pretty impromptu right there, right?
yeah.
All right, guys. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on the Errant Venture. My name is Steve.
I'm Adam.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think of Daisy Ridley. If you guys have any opinions, just comment below. And we'll see you guys on the next one on the Errant Venture.
May the force be with you.
What he said.